Detroit's road to financial stability is like an obstacle course with danger marked at every twist and turn. State versus city, city attorney versus the mayor, and a judge shaking his head at all of it. A lawsuit tossed out and a financial review team now in charge, we think. Today on Spotlight, what effect has this tug-of-war had on the business community and the future of our city and our state? We'll ask our guests. Ken Harris, president of the Michigan Black Chamber, Mike Roberts, owner of Roberts Riverwalk Hotel, Beverly Smith, publisher of the Detroit Black Pages, and Tony Stovall, president of the Detroit Black Chamber. It's Sunday, June 17th, and this is Spotlight. And welcome to Spotlight. I'm here with four people who have a vested interest in the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. You've heard from a lot of politicians this week about the Detroit financial crisis. Who you probably have not heard much from are people who are trying to run a business or make a living or try to encourage other people to come and create a business in the city of Detroit. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Welcome to Spotlight. Good having all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Tony Stovall, let me start with you. You are the proprietor of a business, Hot Sam's. You're also president of the Detroit Black Chamber, so you get to worry about more than just your
Right.
clothing store, which has been in the city of Detroit since what, 1921?
1921.
All right, and you've been the owner since
94.
1994.
Right.
That's a long vested interest. Your store has seen the good times and the bad times. Let's deal with this fiscal crisis in a sense. You've watched all the shenanigans this week. Your thoughts?
Well, as you said, Chuck, I've been downtown for the good and the bad. I've seen casinos come in that was supposed to work and other things supposed to work, and we've been waiting for it, the boom to come back. But I think we're right on the edge of downtown coming back to it once was. We're seeing people moving downtown, living downtown. And one thing I want people to understand about the city of Detroit, and most cities around the country, we're all going through something. The country's going through something. So as an entrepreneur, and what I want to share with others, that when things are challenging, it's also opportunity for entrepreneurship. When things get so bad, that's a great opportunity for things to grow. So I'm excited actually about the future of the city of Detroit. We're right there on the edge, and I've been, like I said, I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, but we're right there to make it great once again.
Even in lieu of the fact that we might be looking at payless paydays if this financial review team can't get it all together?
Well, you know what? I don't depend on what the financial people do or don't do. But what we do is try harder when things get challenging, recruit more, and take care of our customers, and they'll be there.
Ken Harris,
Yes,
you
Chuck.
get to worry about not just businesses in the city of Detroit, but all across this state.
Yep.
What's the climate, and what are people saying outside of the city of Detroit about what's happening fiscally here?
The climate is positive. When you look at the statistics, most people do not know that there's more than 79,000 African-American firms in the state of Michigan. There's more than 32,000 in the city of Detroit alone, which is ranked number 4 in the entire country. So when you think about a community, an African-American business community that's growing 3 times the national rate, there's positivity. It's our job as a state chamber, more importantly, to have influence, to advocate properly and provide resources for those business owners. So when you look at it from that standpoint, the growth market is there. I think we have a tremendous opportunity to connect the dots effectively, and why not a statewide chamber of commerce with chambers in every single local community such as Grand Rapids, Lansing, Flint, Pontiac, Southfield, and now Detroit, where we have our prominent president, Tony Stovall.
Bev Smith, you're publisher of the Detroit Black
Yes.
Pages. I've seen from the various columns and the articles that you're constantly concerned about the image of the city of Detroit. Let me read something that you wrote not too long ago in your paper. You said, "I know some of you may be asking the question, will Detroit ever become the great city it once was? Some of you are probably shaking your heads and saying to yourself, Detroit is still a great city." And then you go on and on.
Yes.
Obviously, this is a debate that goes on all the time.
All the
in
time,
lieu
we hear
of the image and the publicity that we've gotten as of late, how hard is it going to be to become that great city or remain that great city?
Well, Chuck, you have a lot of Detroiters that have always been here and are always doing and promoting the city of Detroit. We are the ambassadors of the city. If we continue to let people know what Detroit has to offer, and I try to do that through the newspaper, you try to do that on your show. We have a plethora of businesses. Ken stated 32,000 black businesses just in the city of Detroit. If we can just get a third of that to let young people see that business owners and entrepreneurs are here in the city, we can come together and the city can still remain to be a great city.
Michael Roberts, you headquartered in St. Louis.
Yes.
You know a little bit about politics. You were a city councilman in St. Louis at one point. You're an entrepreneur. You have hotels all over the world. I think the last count was 12. Your most recent one is in the city of Detroit, Roberts Riverwalk Hotel, probably on maybe the perhaps the prime piece of real estate on the river downtown. You decided a year ago to come in and invest in this city.
That's right.
Why? And when you hear what is going on, financial review teams, emergency managers, are you ready to pack up and say, what in the world am I doing here?
No, to the contrary. I mean, you are really referring to a political issue, and we're specifically dealing with matters relating to jobs and the operations of day-to-day government. There will always be an operation available, regardless of who's in charge. The city is too great and America is too strong to let its great cities turn to seed. So in my opinion, those are issues that are going to work themselves out. I look at, what is the regentrification and the growth in downtown Detroit. I look at the opportunities of industry and businesses moving in. I look at how General Motors has now become the world's greatest automobile manufacturing facility. I see Blue Cross Blue Shield moving into downtown. So the indicators, and I might add, there are a variety of people who are now buying buildings in downtown. So the indicators...
And we're going to talk about that when we come back from the commercial break, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there are economic indicators that a businessman has to look at in order to determine, to what extent they want to invest. I have a lot of confidence in Detroit. I have more confidence in the people of Detroit, frankly. I have seen...
Then the leadership, is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm very clear and very specific. I don't make suggestions. I'm saying to you that I have seen a uptick in the activities of ownership in the city, downtown specifically. Where I'm located, I've seen the Grand Prix come back and Mario Andretti staying at my hotel, and I'm listening and watching concerts. This last week, I mean, we had the Ohio Players in Confunction. They were staying at the
You're
hotel.
taking me back a little bit now.
You should have been there. It was a really great old school show. But I mean, my point is, I mean, if you look at, every weekend we have something going on. We had a East Indian wedding where the groom came down the Riverwalk in beautiful horses, and I mean, it was a 3-hour wedding, and they tell me that in India that's short.
And I'm glad I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. But that and so many other activities in the Riverfront Conservancy, and I'm now on the board of, very aggressive in expanding even now the footprint of the walkway.
All right, we need to get a commercial break in. I got to pay a few bills here. When we come back, I want to talk about leadership. I want to talk about development and opportunities, and perhaps who the opportunities are going to and who the opportunities may not be going to. We'll be right back right after this commercial break. We're talking about black business in the city of Detroit, also across the state of Michigan, and entrepreneurial success, and what does it take in the current climate and political atmosphere. Tony Stovall, we were talking not too long ago, and you're talking about some of the concerns that you have as an entrepreneur in the city of Detroit. We know that there's development. You have all cited the various development that's going on and some of the changes positively that are going on in the city, and people coming in, buying up real estate, et cetera. Businesses that have
been in the city
Right.
for a long period of time. You guys don't seem to be getting the incentives and things that we're hearing. Some of the others are coming in. How does that make you feel, and what concerns do you have with the current administration, whether it's the mayor's office, it's the city council?
Well, you know, what you find out in the business is always going to be struggles. And one of my concerns, I've been talking to city council and the mayor and other people in leadership, I think it's great that people want to come back to Detroit and giving all these tax incentives to all these new businesses that want to come
So you're
downtown.
not against that?
I'm not against anything, because I think if we can remember when we were kids, downtown used to be packed. Retail was everywhere.
Okay.
All that does is create more opportunities for all of us to make money. But when things are...
But what are you getting to make sure that Hot Sam's can be in Detroit another 50 years since you've been here since 1920?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you what I think the rescue of black business is going to be, really is the Detroit Black Chamber. We're the most organized group that's truly making a difference. We had access to capital. We had St. Regis, and we also do most of our ventures at St. Regis and Roberts Riverwalk. So if you can spend your money with other black businesses, we all grow together. And what happened with those things, we put on a financial access to capital venture at St. Regis, and we were able to help 4 or 5 different small businesses get capital. 4 or 5, 2 other businesses got lines of credit. So I'm saying the black chambers have the resources. What people do, they respect you when you're in an organization that has structure, and we have 5 pillars. There's access to capital. Also want to make sure that those companies are ready. So we have training, we have membership, we have advocacy, and we're strongly, and what you just said is a good, that's what makes me think that it's important for the black chamber, because some other businesses that have been downtown, they're having trouble.
So are you telling me that, one, you've got to network more?
Yes, you do.
Among ourselves.
Yes.
But also, when you're talking to the Detroit Economic Growth Corporation and the leaders and others, organizations downtown, Detroit Partnership, you're also saying, don't forget about those of us who have been here.
Exactly.
To make sure that we can continue to stay here, because we were here before it was chic.
Exactly.
To be in the city of Detroit.
And not just that, we have an organization that's going to make sure, hold you to your word, that we want to be part of the process. They're spending a lot of money downtown with new businesses, but we want to make sure we're there when all this recovery
How about
happens.
some of the rest of you? What concerns do you have? Beth?
Well, I think the most important thing, we have to know that we are powerful in numbers. We have a lot of businesses that are individually doing things. We have to realize the importance of partnerships and build relationships in order to advance. That's another reason why I do the newspaper, to give them resources and information. Another reason I'm a part of the chamber, because that's where we come together as a business community and to promote growth and development of businesses for the community and to the benefits of the members of the chamber.
So if you're picking up the Detroit Black Pages, you're seeing different types of stories and hearing a different song perhaps than if you're picking up Crane's Detroit Business.
Well,
so both concerned about business in this region, but different messages, right?
Well, that's right. The purpose of the newspaper is really to showcase what businesses we have, what their products and services are, and to give information to businesses who may not be able to come to a chamber event. Some businesses may not have been able to come to the Access to Capital event. The newspaper gives that information. We have experts, our columnists give resources on job employment, finances, networking, everything that you need in a seminar or at a function, the newspaper does that as well.
All right. Michael Roberts, I don't think there's another city in America that can say it has 3 African-American owners of quality hotels downtown. You, O'Neill Swanson, and Emmett Moten. That's a unique story. Tony, you're the only African-American owner of a clothing store in the city of Detroit, although there are a lot of different clothing stores. We'll be right back. Michael Roberts, you've written a book. You're an author among everything. You've got a book that's people talk about all the time. Action has no season. Leadership, you talk about it every time you give a motivational speech. You're concerned about what you may or may not be seeing with leadership in Detroit right now that makes it better for your business to exist and thrive.
Well, I think we business folks are always looking for answers that relates to the future as it relates to leadership, guidance, and vision. If we can know that this city, which has historically been pretty much a one industry-driven city, needs to recognize that as we move further into this century, we have to be more diversified, and we have to find ways to create opportunities to come. I was in New Orleans not long ago, and I attended I'm a trustee for the National Advisory Council for Innovation and Entrepreneurship with the Secretary of Commerce, and the President placed me on it. And there was an entity there that was known as Idea Village. And Idea Village basically brings thinkers into a facility for about 6 months, 8 months, and they talk about business opportunities in the tech world. Now, if you're over 40, I consider you an immigrant as it relates to the tech business. If you're under 40, you're a native. So, you know, what we're needing to do is take on opportunities to see where this country's going to go, where the world's going to go. We have to think globally. I mean, let's face it, you have all the infrastructure here in Detroit. You have an airport that flies everywhere in the world.
That's right.
So that means everybody in the world can come here. Products can be exchanged. There could be great opportunities that can make the city much more robust, but we have to diversify the purpose and the direction of the city in terms of business opportunities. So it cannot be, I mean, even tourism for that matter. I mean, this used to be a place where people would come.
Right.
We could build that back up. You have a great riverfront. It's beautiful. It's connected.
And the Pure Michigan campaign has done wonders, for what I understand. The state certainly has invested a lot of money into it, and they're playing it all outside of the state of Michigan, trying to attract people here.
The government just put in, next door to my hotel on the riverfront, a new center for trademarks and patents. They're going to hire 100 lawyers. And to make this a center, a hub, which means that inventors and innovators will be able to come to Detroit and get their patents reviewed and be in a position where they can do it. That means outside of that, outside lawyers and consultants will all be a part of the process to make that work.
All right. Ken Harris, you get to crisscross the state. You've heard the governor talk about gardening.
Absolutely.
That's important to business. You've heard him talk about immigration and how important he feels that is for the future growth of this region. But you've also seen the political fights, whether it's a bridge to Canada or it's who gets on the financial review team in the state of Detroit. Absolutely. If you could send a message to the leadership out there that the business community wants them to hear, what would it be?
Absolutely. That's the vantage point of a Black Chamber of Commerce, Chuck. We're an economy that has yet not connected the dots. My role on the U.S. Black Chamber Board of Directors is to facilitate 5 programs, our 5 pillars of service. Advocacy is one of them. Access to capital, contracting, chamber development, and entrepreneurial training. But more importantly, our goal is to participate in the discussion in both local municipalities, statewide municipalities, and also in DC and Lansing, which is critical. So when the bridge contracts and things come up, we want to make sure that there's equity, that there's parity in the discussion when it comes to entrepreneurial training, contracts, procurement opportunities that are geared towards minorities and Black-owned businesses. I think, one, most people wouldn't know, if you look in your Black Enterprise 100 magazines, in every single sector in industry, Michigan, metropolitan Detroit especially, has some of the top African-American firms in the entire globe. So not only do we have substantial businesses to be able to compete effectively, but more importantly, we can advocate properly. You know, it's funny, our former board chairman, William Brooks, a good friend of yours, would always say, you know, when he was in DC,
with GM and
absolutely,
was, quite an entrepreneur even outside of GM.
Chair on our board. Every single group had an advocacy function. Now it's time for African Americans to mobilize ourselves around economics. And I think when we start talking about the dollar, can we have true influence and economic power? That's why the chamber is so essential, and we'll participate in many discussions such as the bridge and any other economic opportunities that come forth, especially like we discussed last week with the White House Business Council.
All right, time is always my worst enemy. I'm going to go down the line. I just need a one-word answer. As you look ahead, in this climate, this atmosphere, the economy, whether it's national, it's state, it's local, are all of you optimistic or pessimistic about where we're headed? Ken Harris?
Optimistic.
Michael Roberts?
Very optimistic.
Beverly Smith.
Very optimistic.
Tony Stovall.
Extremely optimistic. Join the Black Chamber is the answer.
We got a few adjectives in there too. All right, we want to thank all of you for joining us.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure having you on Spotlight,
Chip.
and we'll get you back. And I'll be back in a second, talk about my colleague, Robin Roberts, and her health care challenge, and my one-on-one conversation with her. We'll be right back.
Last week, ABC's Robin Roberts delivered news about herself that rocked her Good Morning America audience.
Now, sometimes treatment for cancer can lead to other serious medical issues, and that's what I'm facing right now. It is something that is called MDS, myeloplastic syndrome, and it is a rare blood disorder that affects the bone marrow. And my big sister is a virtually perfect match for me. She's there with Diane and Aunt Sweeney, and she is going to be my donor. She's going to be my donor.
With this news, I couldn't help but think back to what she told me in an interview in 2009 for the Ford Freedom Awards.
Much of America will want to know how's your health, having gone through the cancer battle that you went through.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the gun show. No, I'm feeling stronger every day. I'm no Michelle Obama, but you know, I'm feeling stronger every day. And thank you for asking. And people are so wonderful. I had tests recently, and they were very good. The cancer is no longer detectable in my body right now, so I'm very, very, very grateful for that.
And how difficult was it to go through what you had to go through medically, but also publicly?
Oh.
With the eyes of the world watching.
Oh, my mama said, make your mess your message. I knew that I was going to be fine. I knew that I had the health care. I knew I had the support of everyone here at Good Morning America. And I knew that it wasn't that way for a lot of people. And so to make sure that they could get the attention and the recognition and the help that they needed, I did it. I did it for others. My parents have always taught me to be of service to others. I was the one that was helped. I mean, I wanted to heal others, and I was the one that was healed.
Robin Roberts, one tough cookie. If anybody can beat this, we know it's you, Robin. We're all pulling for you. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is next here on 7.